Today's video is all about expats.
Yeah, have you ever dreamed of living abroad? Maybe a month or two or a whole year?
Well, today we're going to show you 4 places that you might consider to live abroad.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
If you've been following along with us, you know that we have been vlogging our way through Central America and Colombia.
That's right. We've spent time in Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Colombia, and we have met so many expats along the way.
We kind of consider ourselves expats, don't we?
We do. We're kind of expat samplers.
like at Costco.
I know.
That kind of describes us. Come around and eat a little everywhere.
Brings back memories. That's how we fed our kids when they were little. We'd say, we're going to Sam's Club or Costco, and you eat all the samples you can.
But we're doing that around the world in travel. But there are a lot of you out there that are very curious about being an expat and staying in one place, maybe a month or two, or maybe a winter, or maybe a whole year. And
find out what's it like to live there. I mean, there's obviously pros and cons of everywhere you go.
Today's video, we want to talk about 4 places that we went.
Yes.
And we met some expats in all of these places. We kind of heard some good and bad about everywhere. And we just thought it would be a good time to talk about that.
That's right. We want to share our experiences and let you decide that might be a place you want to try out to live.
First off, we went to Panama. Now, we went to the city to start off our trip. We had been traveling across the country with our Airstream, and we went to all the national parks in the lower 48. And so we had been in rural America, in wilderness, and everywhere. So we were looking forward to city living. And so we went to Panama City to start off.
Yes, and we stayed in a 48th floor of a high-rise. It's a big modern city. We actually went to another place in Panama that we want to introduce you to called Boquete. And it's up in the mountains and much cooler than Panama City, but most importantly, it has a vibrant community of expats.
Yeah, if you've never lived as an expat and you're looking for a jumping off point, we think Boquete is a really good place to go. If you're looking to live somewhere where there are other people that speak English, where there is a community already with civic organizations and country clubs, or things that you can do, causes that you can get involved with.
Yeah.
Boquete is a beautiful place.
Yes, there's networks of people. There's Facebook groups of expats in Panama. The Panamanian government does many things to try to encourage expats to come to their country. So there's discounts available.
Yeah, if you're over 55 as a woman, and I think it's 60 as a man, when you go into a restaurant, you can ask for a discount, and they take 25% off of your bill. I think it's the same with hotels.
Yeah.
And maybe some other things like that.
So what would you consider the strong points or the pluses of Boquete?
I loved the flowers. There were flowers everywhere. Every yard was full of flowers. What was your favorite about Boquete?
A wide variety of great restaurants and lots of outdoor activities. There was whitewater rafting, there was a volcano nearby, and the temperature much different than Panama City, where it was very hot and humid. Much cooler up in the mountains in Boquete.
Yeah.
So the weather was nice.
Except in the summer. Yeah, they have a rainy season, and we know someone who had lived in that area, and she said it was miserable because it just rains and it just doesn't stop.
So it may be a better winter destination, but still a great place. You can go learn some Spanish and still have a network of English-speaking people near you. And
if you're thinking of going there and that be your jumping off point, you can contact a realtor, or you can get an Airbnb. You can find a place to rent, and one of the things that they'll do is they'll help you with all of the details that you need to know.
Yeah.
They really are used to expats who come there and don't know what they're doing, and you will quickly learn.
Yep.
Also, the community there is very helpful, and they'll teach you. I just think Boquete is a great place if you're looking for a community.
So overall, we had a very positive impression of Boquete, and be sure to check out our video on Boquete that we did and get a little bit more detail about the things to do in this wonderful city.
He's always hawking our videos. Always. Look at the shirt.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. So the next place that we went that we thought was a great place to be an expat in Costa Rica was the Nicoya Peninsula.
Because you'll live to be 100?
Yeah, because it is a blue zone. And we were on the Nicoya Peninsula in a town called Montezuma.
Montezuma.
If you're looking for beach, that's the place.
Yes, so Costa Rica is different than Panama. If you've heard the term pura vida,
They live it.
pure life, just very laid back, easygoing. It's not a place you want to be in a hurry at.
And when you land at the airport and you get your car or you get your ride, you have to tell yourself that over and over and over, because you're going to hit about 1,000 potholes.
Yes.
It is the land of potholes, would you say?
One lane bridges and potholes. The road system in Costa Rica, once you get off the beaten path, is
Well, even the beaten path
even
was
the beaten
pretty
path.
beaten
Yeah,
up.
it's not a place you want to drive at night.
No,
But
definitely don't do that.
Yeah, but
and don't follow Google, use Waze.
Use Waze, don't use Google Maps. We learned our lesson there. But as far as natural beauty, it's an amazing place.
The wildlife was really incredible.
Yes, and if you like activities, we met some expats that loved surfing. So the whole Nicoya Peninsula there has some amazing surfing.
It's on the
and
Pacific side, and it's a couple of hours from San Jose. So it's easy to get to. It's easy to fly in.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite thing about that area?
Just the laid back beauty of it. It's a place you want to just relax and get away. It's a pretty nice place. It was
Yes,
beautiful.
and there is a big community there of expats. I kind of felt like it was, I hate to say the word hippie, but it was that kind of a very comfortable vibe.
Very
They were
laid
comfortable
back.
with themselves and comfortable in their environment, and there were lots of little restaurants and tucked away little homes in the jungle, and it was beautiful. The water was clear, the sand was white. There were several things that we saw there that we loved. We loved the bioluminescence in Whale Bay.
Yeah.
And we also saw a turtle habitat where they rescue sea turtles along the beach.
And little babies run
and
out
you
to
can
the
volunteer to help there.
ocean. Yeah.
And we loved that.
We did.
The downside, I would say, to living there in Costa Rica in general is that they're very used to tourists. And I kind of felt like that they treated us all like we were tourists. But maybe if you lived in the community and knew a little bit more, you wouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But for
I
us,
think the other thing is we were a little surprised at the infrastructure. The roads weren't that great.
no, the roads
we
weren't good, but
experienced
also
some
the buildings were.
power outages.
Yeah.
yeah,
Internet came and went.
would come and go. So there were some drawbacks. You need to be very careful about what you're looking for. As far as we didn't talk a lot about cost of living in Panama.
We thought the food was expensive. Just yogurt was $2.50 instead of the $1 you would pay in the U.S.
In Panama. So I would say the first two places, Panama and Costa Rica, were higher costs than we had expected.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind if you're looking for a very cheap place to be an expat.
But we loved it, and it was beautiful. And there are sloths in Costa Rica.
The sloths were
sloths
amazing.
are amazing. We saw beautiful sloths. We heard howler monkeys. There were monkeys in the trees in that area, and so we just loved that.
So I don't think you could go wrong in either place.
No.
Again, depending on what you're looking for.
That's
so,
right.
What was the next place we went?
We went to Guatemala, to Lake Atitlan. Now, we also went to Antigua, but we would recommend Lake Atitlan. And why would we recommend
Oh
that,
my goodness,
John?
it's a special place in my heart. A bunch of reasons. Do you have a day or two for me to talk about this?
No, we don't.
We don't. Okay, so the first thing is it is amazingly beautiful. It is a mile-high lake. It's 50 square miles. It's like the deepest lake in Central America, and there's 3 volcanoes all around it. So that's the natural beauty is incredible.
Yes, and the pros, there is one major pro and one major con, and both of those are it's fairly remote.
Very, very remote.
And kind of off the grid. So if you're looking for a place that's away from the city bustle, and that's your place to go. If you have mobility problems, that is not the place to go. You
Yes.
have to be able to walk across rocks and pathways that are dirt.
The weather is amazing, like I said, because it's higher elevation, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's an amazing
It
amazing
is,
place.
and-
the cost
and-
of living is low.
Oh yeah, and the thing that we loved about this area is that It's so remote, but we felt so safe there. We walked at night on the trails with our flashlights. We stayed on the side opposite of the volcanoes in an area that wasn't too far from Panama. But to get there, you have to go by boat. So when you bring your groceries in, you have to be willing to have a boat to help you get them to your home. And then you have to be able to carry them into your villa.
Not many roads around the lake. It is a boat access only in most of the cities.
But the good thing about that is that it was remote and the riffraff wasn't around. There was a very good symbiotic relationship between the locals and the expats. The locals were very friendly, and every time we passed them on the path, they said hello, welcomed us, smiled at us. It was a world of smiles.
It was, and we couldn't even use our vast knowledge of Spanish because most of the people there speak one of the we don't. We're joking there, but most of the people there speak Mayan dialect. So very sweet natured people.
Over 20 different languages are spoken in Guatemala.
So the people were very much a plus.
The thing we heard the most going into Guatemala is, oh, you need to stay safe. You need to stay safe. And I'm sure there are some places you don't want to go, in like every city in Guatemala City. But for us, it was just a wonderful, wonderful place we could have spent a whole 3 months there.
Yeah, it was one of those places that exceeded our expectations. If you want to get away to a magical place that's very remote, that's very different from what you're used to, go spend a winter at Lake Atitlan.
It is very easy to get transportation from the airport, and if you are renting an Airbnb or you're renting a home, the people that own those places, they will help you arrange your transportation from the airport. They will help you arrange private boats. We had no problem. When you get to Panama, there are people there on the dock that work for tips that will help you carry your things, and it was no problem to get help that you need. And just the drivers, or you could get on a public water taxi.
Yeah,
it was very easy.
Very nice. And overall, I would say the cost of living is a notch lower than Panama or Costa Rica. So things were very reasonably priced. Some of the downsides of Lake Atitlan is, there wasn't an abundance of restaurants, close to where we are. We'd have to go.
There wasn't an abundance of grocery stores.
Or grocery stores. You have to go walk a ways or take the water taxi to another city.
And internet was a little sketchy for us.
Internet was sketchy.
In the location we were at. So that's something you've got to consider if you want to be in touch with the digital world.
That's right.
But you might not want to be.
You may not want to be. So again, this is a very individual decision. We're trying to offer you different examples of places to go experience something different.
Yeah, but we do have some videos on that you might want to check out. That we just
Are you
thought
plugging our videos again?
Yes, of course I am.
Yes, check out our videos on Guatemala. We had a great time there, and we know you will too.
Yeah. So our last place we went was to Medellin, Colombia. Some people call it Medellin or Medellin. It's but the locals say Medellin.
Medellin. Get that "gene" in there.
And the thing we loved about Medellin is the cost of living.
The cost of living is amazing. So much cheaper. I would say less than half of the United States.
Yeah, we stayed in a beautiful neighborhood. Our favorite neighborhood is El Poblado. And now we stayed in the wrong place in El Poblado, but if you're looking for a home to stay in, you probably won't end up
that was our mistake. Don't stay in Parquilleras area of El Poblado. But there's lots of good places.
There are, and tree-lined streets. It's just gorgeous and beautiful, and it's very close to lots of shopping, lots of transportation options. It's very hilly. If you're in a wheelchair, you probably would have problems living there.
Yeah.
But if you might want to be on a more leveled neighborhood. But El Poblado is absolutely gorgeous. There's malls, there's shopping. But the cost of living there, I'll just share with you one thing. We had steak, and I had a steak, and John had a salmon, and I think we paid $30, and they brought me 2 filet mignons out. It is so cheap there.
It's ridiculous.
You can get a 50-cent beer.
So 50 cent beer. So one of the things that's different about Medellin than the first 3 places, those were all smaller cities. Medellin's a town of over 4 million people in the area, so it's a much bigger city. So it's
and a lot of expats.
Quite a few expats, yes. So you won't find as much English speaking there. In El Poblado you do, and there are some expats, but a little different than say Boquete.
Okay, so let's just talk about the elephant in the room. How safe is it to live in Colombia?
Well, we've heard that a lot. Hey, I was watching Narcos and it doesn't look safe there, and let me just tell you, we did not feel unsafe at any time.
No, we are very careful. You have to be careful. You can't carry your camera around.
But it's no.
Can't flash jewelry.
It's no different than certain other big cities in the United States. There are areas that's maybe not the best idea to go into, especially at night, and we didn't do that. But all the areas that we were, even at night, we felt safe. I think you can see from the excitement in our voice that we love Medellin.
But the other thing that is the best about Medellin, and the reason we will be going to Medellin every single year, is
the cost of medical
care.
Oh my goodness, and prescription drugs.
Yes, they have one of the best ranked medical systems in the world. Yeah. I know that's shocking to a lot of people. Or the World Health Organization actually ranks them higher than the United States.
So we went.
It's hard to believe, but it's probably related to cost. So they were very modern.
Very modern. To give you some examples, we went and got our teeth cleaned for like $45 each, and the dentist spent an hour and a half with us, which is pretty amazing.
He was an amazing man. Yeah. Every doctor we saw, we went to the eye doctor, who was also had the very modern equipment, more modern than what we had in Florida, actually. And then I also got a mammogram. It was exactly the same as what we get in the U.S.
Was it lower cost?
It was a lot lower cost, $40 for a mammogram. And, I got my results in a couple of days, and I got all my films sent to me in email. And
that's right.
So talk about our prescriptions.
Oh my goodness. I'm on a drug called Eliquis as a blood thinner, and our insurance company as a retiree just mentioned to us that they're no longer covering Eliquis.
Or Eliquis, as they say there.
in South America, but it's over $500 a month without insurance in the United States.
Yeah.
We got it for $60 a month in Medellin. We needed Google Translate to work with the pharmacist,
but they were awesome, and they took the time to help us get it all straight and order everything, and we bought our prescriptions for an entire year. And we are going to take those with us as we go to Europe here in a few weeks.
That's right. It's really changed our whole mindset about medical care, what we're going to do during our retirement years.
Yeah, and a lot of people go to Medellin to get other types of medical care, plastic surgery, dental implants are very affordable there.
So Medellin is a great town to consider. I'll try to recap some of the things.
Yeah.
Much safer than any stories you see back from the Pablo Escobar days.
Yeah.
Don't believe that.
That's right.
It's much different than that now. Second thing that I want to say is the weather. See, it's called the City of Eternal Spring because it sits up around close to 6,000 feet elevation. But it's near the equator, so basically it's around 80 degrees every day in the afternoon,
it's so wonderful.
And in the low 60s at night all year round. So it's amazing weather.
They do have a rainy season, so you need to pay attention to that, but it's not so bad. It's not as bad as Boquete, I would think.
No, the rainy season isn't as bad as Boquete. So
it is a big city, though. So the city actually encourages people to get out on Sunday mornings. We did the Ciclavia, is what it's called, and they close off El Poblado Boulevard, I believe it's called. Is that the whole boulevard? Or five miles. We had the best time. We have another video on that.
Yes, we do.
And that was a wonderful experience.
We've talked about 4 special places that we've been to the last 4 months.
What's your favorite?
I think to actually live there because with restaurants and cost of living and health care, probably a bigger city like Medellin would probably be the first choice. I don't know, as far as full-time living, probably Medellin. As far as a place just to go visit, an incredible place, Lake Atitlan, Guatemala.
Yeah. So where are we off to next? So
we are off to Europe for the next 9 months. So after our little vacation here in the Bahamas, we are going to get back at it start making videos and share with you our experiences
We're
across
heading to
Europe.
the Netherlands first, and then we're going to Greece, and we're going to work our way up Greece to northern Italy, and
That's right.
we're going to have a great time.
So be sure to hit subscribe, smash that like button, and follow along with us in our journey across Europe.
And thanks for hanging in with us on this long video.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Yep. Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.